y'all. Welcome to Unleash with DNA. I'm Amy.
And I'm Dawn, and we're so glad you're here.
Hey, Dawn. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Well, today is our commitment to do our first recorded session. And I'm excited that it's taken 6 months plus to get here, but we're finally in the right frame of mind to get something out there, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? It's been 6 months, but we've still been having fun for 6 months. We just haven't been having fun with anybody watching yet or listening.
We've been having fun practicing, and we've been having fun trying to figure it all out. And then we've had fun in our real life and not able to work on it at all. But now here we are. So I'm just proud that we finally gave ourselves enough grace just to get on here and do it and post it out there, and whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. I'm just glad to be doing it.
Yeah. So I think it's appropriate that, we let everybody know that we've decided that we are going to record in series, like a series of topics, using acronyms, because that's the way we talk or do things. And it makes it easier to sort of compartmentalize topics, since we like to talk about everything and anything at any given time. So
Yes.
if we do an acronym and we talk about each letter in that, and we, record like in a series, it might be easier for our audience to follow along. So whether or not that's really the truth or not, that's where we believe in our hearts is best. And so our first series is going to be Joy, the Joy series, which we will have the acronym JOY, and talk about what that is for us. And we'll just see how it goes. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. And joy is something that you and I have been talking about for years. And I know that you've done a lot of inspirational things on joy. And I think joy it's a state of mind, right? I mean, and I think people think joy, they get joy and happy. And joy is really a state of mind. And so it's something that we can control. We can have joy in everything we do. It's just about intentionality. So I think it's a great way for us to introduce ourselves to anyone who is willing and wants to listen to you and I have a conversation, because being able to work with you and be your friend for the last 28 years, I think joy has been something that we have had to be very intentional about this entire time through all of these phases of our life. And I know anybody and everybody's listening is at a different phase of their life and they're going through, but the one thing that is universal to every human being is that we are all seeking joy in our life. I mean, and so I think this is a perfect series for anyone who wants to jump in and listen to get to know us and kind of understand how we tackle and kind of how we approach joy in our lives.
Yes, I love it. And so we're going to start off with the J, and that's easy. J and joy stands for joy. And, I agree with you that joy is a choice. You have to try, and you have to have your mind open to receive joy, because let's face it, we're not going to have picture perfect days every day. We're not going to have picture perfect weeks, months, or years. So you have to be willing and able to recognize joy as it comes. And then you have to sort of redefine in your mind what joy is. Like, joy can be as simple as being able to sit out on your front porch and drink a cup of coffee in the breeze, right? It doesn't have to be a vacation to France or something crazy. It could just be the everyday little things that bring you joy, or allow you to experience joy, or lighten your load, I guess, for lack of better word. It's really just being present and recognizing when it happens, because it's easy to have a bad day. It's easy to be in a bad mood,
And
right?
I would say you have more joy in a calendar year in the little things if you find them than you do in the bigger things. Because I mean, how many big vacations are you going to take? How many fabulous trips are you going to go on? You know, how many days is going to be somebody celebrating a big milestone, birthday and anniversary, and you're getting all your family, or you had a wedding? Like those are probably a lot less often than the day-to-day things that you find in life that you know bring you joy. And it's really important that you figure out what that is, because when those days are going bad, if you're in a career and you're having a hard day, or if you're a full-time mom and you know kids are kind of crazy, or you're kind of doing things, if you don't know what those joy moments are for you in the moment, you will be able to get to a place of joy faster when you know what it is that brings you joy, because then you can put yourself in that situation and you normally that gives you endorphins and it makes you feel better
Yeah.
like that quickly.
That's a good point.
I
I
mean,
never thought of it that way.
when I think of the little things, it's like you and gardening. Like if you're having a crazy day and you can get out in your garden and spend time with all your plants, then I'm assuming that gives you joy, which would not give me joy. But you are out there pruning and clipping and making things beautiful and getting some pictures of it. And I think that probably can take you from one state of mind to a new state of mind that quickly.
Totally. Yep. And then once you figure out what that stuff is, then you need to find opportunities to do more of it. And I think you make a good point about there are more opportunities every day to figure out what that is than like wait, oh, I can't wait till August 8th when I leave to go on the cruise. That's like 75 something days from now or whatever that's too long. And if that's the only joy you're looking forward to, boo, boo, boo. Right?
Wonk, wonk, wonk. What are you going to do? I mean,
Right. Right.
until then.
Right.
So I think that is something I probably, you know, you started talking joy with me years ago. And as I read more on joy and I try to figure it out, it's like it is the day to day. It's you got some bad news, a meeting didn't go well, you're not feeling well. And it's like it's the difference and I think that is, I'm hoping that people will, if they can grab one big nugget out of this series and the things that we're going to talk about over the course of a couple episodes, is be thinking while we're talking about the little things that bring you joy, and write them down and remember them. I mean, because I never thought about the things that I enjoyed doing were the things that were pretty bringing me joy. So when you think about the word enjoy, I enjoy dancing, I enjoy gardening, I enjoy going out to dinner, I enjoy having brunch on a patio. Those are the little things that bring the joy on a regular basis, like
Mhm.
daily, weekly, hourly.
Right.
Music. I mean, music is, people enjoy music. That's bringing you joy, whether you know it or not.
Right. Well, and I I have been at a place in my life where I was fighting it. Like you can get in, I know we're not supposed to say this. We've always had rules about our last name, so we might as well get them out right now. So since my last name is Funk, we made a rule that we would never say that we were in a funk. And since your first name is Dawn, we could never say the crack of dawn. But
That's
anyway,
right. We don't, right.
for the purposes of this podcast, there have been times in my life where I was just in a funk and or just in a not a good spot, and you can get stuck in that, and then everything is just a battle, and everything is annoying, and everybody is annoying, and there's nothing that you're grateful for, and the only person that can snap you out of it is yourself, really. And like telling yourself, snap out of it, cut the shit, and open your eyes to some of the great things that are happening to you every day, even though you're not even willing to see them or acknowledge them or allow them to help, get you on the right path. And I just remember being in those, like particularly when my mom was really sick, I was really bitter. I was bitter about a lot of things because I didn't understand why she, things were happening to her. She didn't deserve that. And I was trying to control like life and God and why, and I was just an ass for a couple of years, and really went through a hard time. And then I think it took her dying, honestly, and then a year to get over it, for me to like realize that life's too short, and everything that my mom, taught me, or through life, and hell, she named me Amy Joy. My middle name is Joy. That I realized that it's up to me to decide how I'm going to live my life, and it's up to me to decide to choose joy, and it's up to me to make things great, and make myself happy, and I cannot rely on anything else, any outside forces, job, career, family. They can't make me happy, only I can. And I think one of the easiest ways to do it is just like what you said, is just to be open to the everyday little gifts that are truly joy, things to celebrate, that happen to you that are good, instead of these big wish list things that may or may never come. So, but it's so much easier said than done. It really
Oh my
is.
gosh. I mean, both of us have lost parents that played a critical role in our life. I mean, they played a critical role. And, my dad got COVID during the pandemic, and I'm in Texas, he's in Tennessee, and he's in a hospital. I can't go get him. Everything in your natural being says you're supposed to get on a plane, go to the hospital, and be by your loved one's side when they're experiencing something. And that was taken from me. So I know that frustration. And at the same time, we're in a pandemic. So we're already struggling as humans. And then you put one of the most important humans in your life is going through the biggest battle of their life, and you aren't there to be able to support them and able to do anything. And meanwhile, you have a team of people that you're trying to support as a leader to get them through their days. And so when I think about it, I have had to remind myself, not only am I the only person that can get myself out of it, I am responsible for getting myself out of it for the people that are depending on me in this world. Because the longer that I stay in that place, then the longer that I'm not only letting myself down, but I'm actually not being able to be there for everyone else. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I know that there's probably so many people listening to this that can relate to that and think about when they were there, but not being able to get yourself out of it. I mean, in some ways, it's a little selfish of us, because not only are we robbing ourselves of days or years or months of our own life, but we're also not showing up for whoever else is in our life that needs us and depends
Hmm.
on us. And that's kind of the way I always do it. Because there's been, I mean, I've been through, my dad was just one of many situations that maybe we would share in future podcasts, but there is many days that I had no reason logically to even go enjoy or go bring joy to myself. Like I almost wanted, I almost thought I deserve to be sad. I deserve to be in this bad place. But it, I was only hurting myself,
Yeah.
the longer I would. So that mindset kind of helped me realize that I can get through this. There's a reason for everything. I have to believe that. And I need to still, and it's okay that even though things are going crazy in the world, uncertain for my dad, I still need to make time to do the things that I enjoy each day so that I can make it through this season of my life.
Yeah. We could
It's
have a
actually
whole,
more important through.
totally. Yeah. And honestly, that we could have a whole nother conversation on all the good and the bad things that came out of COVID. I almost don't even want to, bring it up. But,
Yeah.
the other big aha from that time period in everyone's life is that you never know when things can change. Like the world changed in a nanosecond, like in so many ways. And I remember coming out of that, I don't ever want to do that again, obviously, for all the reasons. And I'm not going to postpone any longer what I'm capable of doing today. Because because we don't know when something like that could pop up and like stop you in your shoes, derail all your plans, put you in your house by yourself for 2 years time, very, very odd. And so, we grow through what we go through kind of thing. And I remember that season in your life well. I remember having lots and lots and lots of talks. And I know what it's like when you're at the deepest, darkest, like mind thoughts, that anything the other person is saying to you, it's going to be okay, hang in there, this too shall pass, all the buzzwords. You're still like middle finger to the air. This sucks, and no one is going to ever know what it feels like, and you can be all sprinkly over there on the other end of the line, but allow me to just have pity
Sulk.
for myself, sulk. And that just doesn't go well. Like it
It
doesn't go
well,
well.
you think you're feeling good, you think you deserve it, but it's almost like joy is, I mean, it's just such a critical piece of getting up every day and seeing the world in a different light. It's just joy is, and when I say it's a state of mind, it's so intentional. Like, because you miss joy when you are just on autopilot. Like, it's real easy because it becomes more of an afterthought. Like, oh, that was fun. How much fun did we have? And then you might be like, okay, now I enjoy doing this. But then you have that experience and then you like, okay, how can I recreate that again? But joy is the hardest when you are in that
When you need
place
it the
where of
most. Yeah, when you need it the
uncertainty,
most.
right?
Yeah.
Something's going on in your world. Something crazy is going on in your world. Something's happening that you can't control. And when I was young, I can remember, my dad always would say, you can't control anything but your mind, darling. And I'm
Mhm.
like, really? I guess that's true. What else can we control? And joy is a state of mind. And you can't control whatever's got you down, but you can control how you're handling it and how you're taking care of yourself through it.
True. Yep. Those are the hard days. And then there should be just the no duh
But
simple moments that are like, and honestly, it's like you should almost end your day like the thing you like to play the game high low. Like we've been at
I
many,
do.
many dinner tables with Don Mathwig where you go around and you talk about high low. And that is and whether you play something like that or every day at the end of the day you write down or journal or you give yourself a thought moment to say what happened good today that I should recognize as joy, that maybe I blew through this day without even reflecting, right? Or without even acknowledging or being grateful for. And then I think the more you can pile up those joy points, those joy dividends, if you will, the easier it is for you to recognize them. And um, all I can say is if you don't do it, then you're missing out, because I've lived it both ways and I'm having much more fun.
Living in the
Expecting
joy,
joy, living in joy, preparing myself
looking
for joy, and looking for joy. Yeah.
looking for it. I mean, it's there,
Yeah.
and you know, when we talk about looking for joy, I got to tell you one place you won't find joy, and it's one of my favorite quotes. There's a quote out there, and I forget who the original author is because it's been used a million times, but comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking for joy, you're not going to look at it. You're never going to find it comparing it to somebody else's joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use your gardening. Like, I don't care. I might have joy hanging out with you if we were chatting and we were gardening. But if I came home by myself and I had to sit in my yard and just prune my flowers, I would not be having joy. I would
No?
not be having joy. So the thing about it is that no, but the thing about it is that joy is very specific to you. There's thousands of things that can bring you joy. You just got to figure out what they are. But what you're not going to get joy in is comparing it to others. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have joy in my life because I would have joy if I could go on a vacation. I mean, look at what social media has done to the world. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking they're doing these little things and they're not having joy. And what's happening is they are having joy, but then they look on social media and it just took their
Yeah.
joy away.
Mm-hmm.
It just took it right away from them because they figure somebody else's joy is bigger and greater and better than their joy. We don't compare our joy to other joy. I
Yeah.
mean, like that's, raising 3 children, I've had to say that. And I think until they get to be adults, they don't really understand what we're saying, but comparison is a thief of joy because you could be having so much fun in your life, enjoying your life, and you hear a story of what somebody else has done, or you see what somebody else has posted on social media, or you see a promotion that someone else has got at work, or you see that somebody else's child has a greater talent than your child. In one full swoop, your joy's gone.
That's total bullshit. And it's so
But
true.
it's true.
It is. And I'm still doing that at 52. Like, why are we on social media? Why? I mean, is like I do get joy out of it because there are things that I enjoy seeing in social media, like some of the people that I follow, or whether gardening and or design stuff, and then friends, and then seeing what other people do. But I'm not gonna lie, there's probably every couple days where I look at something and I'm like, wow, isn't that awesome? Or wow, maybe I should be doing that. And it's like a natural, um, like it's a
Human.
natural human vibe that you get. And I mean, if there is a person in this universe that can get on social media and never ever go there, I want to hear from you, please. And somehow somebody find them, send them to us, and we will invite them as a guest on a show on how in the world not to compare, particularly when you're on social media. And what's even scarier is like you said, you have 3 children. I have one son, like how hard it's been for them to grow up through their young, youthful years with social media. When I was growing up, we didn't even have cell phones. If you didn't get invited to a party, you didn't know. I mean, if
Right.
you didn't know on picture, I mean, like people weren't posting there, going live, doing live stream. You just didn't know. And innocent, and like you were blindly innocent that you weren't a cool kid that weekend or whatever. And you may have heard about it in the hallways at school like 2 weeks later, but it wasn't like live in the moment that you could see that you weren't a part of it. And it's just brutal. It's brutal.
Listen, FOMO was this big when we were growing up. FOMO now is like infinite, like it is draining people's joy. I
Joy.
mean,
Yeah.
it's draining them of their joy. And, so when we talk about joy being a state of mind, I do know people, and of my 3 children, I know one has gotten off social media completely because that is what's best for him. And then I have another one who does very minimal, and one social media doesn't really affect them. And so they're enjoy in social media. So, I mean, again, I'm not here or trying to say social media is a good thing or a bad thing. But if you are comparing yourself and if it is robbing you of your joy, it might not be the best place for you to be spending your time. Or maybe you need to reduce the amount of time or whatever, because you shouldn't you shouldn't have to feel negative. If you're having free time and you're doing something, it should not be doing something that's making you feel bad.
True.
You're supposed to be finding something that makes you feel good. Now, I can't stop you if you got to clean your house and you got to do your laundry or you got to pay your bills and you got to do all the things that adulting brings. I understand none of us really want to be adults. We never really did. I mean, we get it. So being an adult might just rob you of your joy completely, but that's just kind of part of growing up and being an adult. But I'm talking about extracurriculars, the electives that we choose in our personal life to do.
Yeah. I think
You
I
know,
think
you
too.
you you have a
You can't
quote from Adam
you
Grant.
yeah, I do. And well, back to your point real quick before I forget. You don't that what we don't want to act like is that you could just be enjoyed 24 hours a day, because let's face it, we got to do life. We got to do life and all the things. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to do all you got to go to work, and work, but work can be joy too. And there are things in life or things in your day that you have to do to keep up and to do your thing. So it's not like you can ever have a 24 hours a day full of joy, right? There's always going to be something, you like, I
Well,
don't like to
and
put my makeup on every day anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm
oh, me
sick of getting
either.
ready. But
Me too.
I have to because if I don't, Yeah. So, but that, we get past that and we move on to then you move on and you get to go do some things that bring you joy after that. So I don't want to act like that you can ever have, you
Well,
don't
you
stop to
wouldn't
do what you
even
have to
know
do.
what joy is if you didn't know what Ms. is.
True.
Like
Very
you
true.
gotta experience Ms. so that you know what's joy. I mean, just think if we didn't have, you got to know what bad is to know what good is, or you got to know what good is to know what bad is. You got to know it. You got to know what cold is to know what hot is. I mean, people forget that
A
you gotta
balance.
experience
Yeah.
it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how we know the difference.
Well, um, my quote, and I need to read it because I can't. I've used this before when I've done, a presentation or stuff, talking about
Hmm.
joy. And it's from Adam Grant. It says, "Success is a temporary thrill. Happiness lies in doing daily activities that bring you joy." And then that's the end of the quote. And then I kind of wrote, "Every day on this earth is a gift." And it's just a reminder that, um, there are things that happen that are temporary, like even going on a vacation is a temporary state of being that we're blessed to be able to go on, but it's momentary. It's for whatever of that period that lasts. You have that high before you go because you have that anticipation. Oh my gosh, it's 2 weeks away. It's the countdown, and then you go. And then every day, I don't know if you do this, every day you're on vacation, you're like, dang, that first day went fast. Oh no, it's only 2 more days. Oh, I'm down to 1 day. Oh, and instead of just like enjoying the vacation, you're like reverse engineering. There's very little time left and then it's over. And so that is a temporary thrill and moment. And so it's much more fun to like celebrate your everyday joy in your everyday life without, and then whenever you go on vacation or do something special, it's just joy with the cherry on top, right? It's like just extra joy.
It's so true. And I got to tell you, like, this would not work for everybody because everybody doesn't find joy in the same things. But I have realized, and so you and I have spent a lot of time together and we vacation together. And I am a freak about taking hundreds of photos everywhere I am.
um, I know.
I love to take photos. And there is a reason
I'm
because
surprised you're
there
not
is some,
making us pause to take a
I,
selfie
I,
screenshot as
S but
I
I'll tell
hate
you,
pictures. I hate
there's a
pictures.
reason, and what I love about it is one of my favorite things about the iPhone is that it creates these little videos for you, and it also has a featured photos of the day, and I may not find joy in scrolling through social media sites like every day, but if I've had a long, really hard day and it's time, I have joy having a glass of red wine and looking at my featured photos and just laughing out loud and remembering. And I can actually bring myself back to that place. So like the vacation's over, but the vacation continues to be a blessing in my life through my photos
Mhm.
because I will laugh. Like I just looked the other day, Amy, and there was one when you were teaching me how to play pickleball. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, I'm laughing because you were so strict and you were teaching me. So I relived that moment when that picture popped up in my phone and I'm drinking wine and I'm having myself a good old time. So all by myself.
Yeah.
So I do think like some people might not find joy in all that. So because I enjoy looking them through my photos, now wherever I go somewhere, I try to capture as much of the experience as I can so that I can relive it on my hard days. I can
Yeah.
go back and remember how grateful and blessed I am because I've had these experiences.
Well, I will admit, even though I am the one that screams the loudest every time you make everybody stop, pose, get in front of the perfect background to take a picture, I'm like, not again, Don. And then it never fails at the end of the vacation. I'm like, hey, send me all the pictures, so that I can have them. Cause I'm like looking at
I
my
got
phone.
you.
I didn't have I didn't take one single photo. And then I do have joy going back and looking at them. But it's just, we're so different when it comes to that. But it doesn't, you are chronicling your memories and intentionally, right? And you want a photo copy of your memories, and I think that's great. And so now that I know how much joy you've articulated this more today on this podcast than you ever have in the past. I've just been, you've always just yelled at me and told me to go smile. Now that you've articulated how important photos are for you on any vacation that I'm a part of, I will no longer complain when I'm standing there smiling. But what I always ask you to do is don't post a photo of me that I look like
Never
horrible in. But
have.
I can't stand when people do that. It's like they take
I
the
have
picture,
never.
they look the greatest, everyone else looks like poo, and they post it on their social media. So, but no, you don't do that. I know you don't.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah. So
I give a very little splash. Believe me, there is way more memories in my phone than anyone will ever see on social media.
that's I don't know if that I want next time I'm with you, I'm going to scroll through your phone and we're going to laugh out loud.
I have very clear boundaries on what goes out to social media and what is just for me, and that what I can laugh and have fun and have joy all by myself, remembering what the crazy things we were doing on big, and and that's what it is. I mean, because what's so weird about joy is, like you talked about, the vacation comes and it goes. And I think that's what photos did for me, is like, I didn't want it just to be over. Like I want to be able to like let it last longer. I mean, vacations are such a gift in themselves, to be able to go experience a new place and go do something, that I wanted it to last longer. So I would encourage people to, like, I mean, any experiences you have, try to, some people are, I have a friend, and Amy, you know who she is. I mean, she believes in chronicling and journaling and all that. I'm just not a writer. Like, I'm not going to sit down and just write a diary. I have done gratitude. I can list my 5 gratitudes of the day, but I'm not going to write. But I do like photos, because I can, and the phone just sorts them for me by months, years, cities. I can just put a city that I went to, and it'll give me all my memories from that city. So find what
Well, I
works for
know
you.
that where we have a commitment that we want to try to keep these you and I could talk for hours and hours. And one of the things that kind of inspired us to want to put ourselves out there in the world in a form of a podcast, which there's all the reasons why I could rattle off why it's not, but the one thing that I've had the sincere joy and pleasure for the last 28 years, um in particularly probably deeply the last 20 years, is many 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 conversations with you, that where we're just checking in on the way home, and that 5-minute check-in ends up being a 3-hour conversation about whatever's going on. And we finally said, why don't we just start recording these, for good, for better or worse, and in the form of a podcast. And now there's this platform out there. And so I think that us starting off with joy as our first acronym, and J standing for joy is good, was a great way to start it. And our next recording or next episode will be on the O, enjoy, which would be sort of to remain open to new things, and open, and all that comes with that. So I look forward to that conversation. And if we could wrap this up with one little nugget from my point of view, I would just have a go back on what we said earlier, that it's up to you to seek joy. It's up to you to see joy, and it's up to you to embrace it. And so the sooner you can get to doing that, the more joy you're going to have. What
And
about you?
I agree with what you said 100%. And I would probably just to give other listeners a different point of view when it comes to joy. I would probably want you to take away the fact that no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what you've done, no matter what your friends and family, whatever life is throwing at you, no matter what situation that you're dealing with, you are deserving of joy. Joy should be part of your breathe in, breathe out process. We are all worthy of it. There is never a time in our life that we should ever feel that we are not in a place that we do not deserve or cannot accept joy, because I promise you, you can. And the more and more that you learn to appreciate it, the more and more you can tap into it. And just, it does get easier. I mean, life is just easier with joy. So give
Amen,
yourself the
sister.
gift. Amen.
Amen, sister. Well, that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for tuning in.
We know your time is so valuable. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel for easy access to all of our episodes.
Talk soon.